So he's going to have like long-term access to heavy-duty medication. So if he was sharing that with James, I'm sure James would probably put up with a lot more bad behavior just because he would get access to these good pills. But that's really weird that when they came to see you in Miami, it seemed like Hayes kind of drugged James, and
he wasn't happy about James wanting to see me.
Yeah, so like almost so he wouldn't hang out with you, so he would have him to himself.
That's right. That is correct. And I don't know what happened that night. And this is another thing. I'm not going to jump to any kind of accusations, but from what I do know of Hayes and what he's capable of doing and how he works, he may not be the smartest guy, but as far as his street smarts and plotting stuff and doing things methodically, like seriously planning on somebody to do certain things, that guy can do it right underneath your nose and make you look like the bad guy after just tripping somebody up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it seems
so
like
I don't know what happened that night.
Yeah.
At all. But I know James, and he did not. Whatever happened that night, James was questioning it, and he never really was the same again, like as far as talking and about Hayes, about that night. And I have a video that I recorded, and I have of James saying, look, like, you know what's kind of weird is the past 3 times that I've gone to your house, I end up in a trance and I'm sleeping and I, like I'm out of it. How come that's only happening around you? Hayes, I don't know if that one's on YouTube, but I know I have that video.
Yeah, I didn't steal them.
Okay, but you're saying I gave them to you.
But that was at night.
You're saying
that was at night.
It doesn't matter what time it was.
No.
Did you say, James, here's drugs? No, you said give me.
Okay, hold on. Okay, that's fine. Okay, I took a Xanax at night, like you. Fine. How does that translate to the next day when I'm fucking garbage? I'm sitting over fucking
good question.
Garbage.
Yo, how about this?
That doesn't translate.
Why don't you ask a better question? How come every time you come to my house, you came twice? Every time you come to my house, the first 3 days you're out.
Something is weird about that.
So don't blame me.
Maybe it's Henry.
This ain't the first time.
Now hold on.
No, because I had people come in from New York. I had people come in from New York.
I have people that are asking me questions
to fucking have a good time.
No.
Yo, when I'm like, yo, I booked you to come on the 12th, so the 15th we're gonna go out. So the 15th we're gonna go out because you land the 12th, so the 12th, 13th, 14th you're gonna be out cold. So then the 15th we'll go.
What's that gel shit?
That's oil.
I know, but like, let's talk about that for a second because your teeth fell out, like my fucking leg blew up, my head was through my fucking Let's talk about the gel because I'm pretty sure that's what fucked me up.
I can show you.
What the fuck did you squeeze into my mouth?
I can show you.
He's like, just take a little bit in there.
No, I didn't. You're like, yo, save me some.
No. I didn't know what it was.
So what, yo? If someone's sucking a dick, you don't say, save me some.
That's a weird correlation.
Why is it weird?
We're talking about THC.
He didn't save me some.
Wait a minute. We were talking about THC. Went to straight dick sucking. That was straight fucking really gay.
It went to straight.
That wasn't funny gay.
Because you're like, yo, save me some. Like,
you went straight to the dick sucking.
Would you say, save me some?
If sometimes the chicks are like, oh, what do you want me to do? Start sucking dick? Wait a minute, 0 to 5. Okay, wait a minute. But you did that, and that's even more. Just show me the shit.
I can't get to it, bro.
That was a weird dick sucking reference. It threw me the fuck off. Just don't crash now. That's all we need.
this, you guys? Remember this video that Hayes put on his YouTube? All these really foolish and embarrassing videos? That scared James so bad, you guys don't even know. Like, he felt like he had to walk on eggshells a lot because the stuff that he was recording of James. It's, like, really bad. He was scared. James was scared. So I was like, this is weird. And it was so weird.
So that from that night, there's pictures of James like covered in toilet paper, and there's like some kind of like, was that like is it a urine bag or something on his belly, or some kind of bag?
Why did he put it right there too? That was so weird. Like he put it right by his.
Yeah, and then like you're saying there was a picture with a gun in his mouth.
There's actual footage and pictures of him putting a gun in James's mouth.
And then
his head.
Was there like? Go ahead.
No, he put a gun up to his head too. And I was livid. I was so pissed. Like, how can you even talk to somebody after they did that to you? How can you? I was scared.
What did James say when you asked him that?
Like I said, he shut off about Hayes towards the end. But now that James is gone, I feel like it's starting to make sense because James also held back on a lot of stuff, even his pain with our breakup. He would hold on to so much pain because his heart is so huge, and he wants to feel like he's strong and look strong and make people smile and be happy. So the way he would shake off the pain, like usually would be to, like kind of like code talk it around and talk about it, but not directly. Or he would, like let it go, like, and talk about something completely different. But even at the end, it was the end when it got really weird with the whole thing with Hayes after James left Miami the last time.
Because Hayes started like turning off his computer like remotely, right? Like
not only that.
What else?
He was, he'd get in there remotely and he would open up weird tabs on his computer. He would leave weird pictures, like a threat to James, like he would be live streaming and all of a sudden a picture would show up on his computer to kind of say like, oh, you better answer my text messages and read all my links because I matter. I am Hayes, Right. So James is like, all right, well, read all Hayes's links. We're going to answer the phone. We have to do this, because his life was being threatened. And James is a lover all the way. And then this guy, just came into James's life a year and a half ago. It was 1 year and a half, maybe a half of a year that this guy Hayes came into his life. He hasn't known him for 3 years. I heard that. That's not true. And everybody knows that. That's a lie. So let me see. Yeah, it's a lot with that whole thing. But at the end, he did really close up about me, about Hayes, about Marcy. And I think, Marcy's going through whatever she's going through. She was with him at the end. So I don't know. I'm not going to say anything bad. She's going through it too. I mean, Hayes literally jumped on the first flight when he found out James died and took over everything. I mean, even his father wasn't able to talk to me alone. And that's when I was like, oh God, I can't believe, I don't know what's going on. This is going to be bad. And I mean, it was a gut wrenching feeling. Like, I was like, this is bad. This is really bad. I need to go out there too. And also I felt, I'm going to be honest with everybody. I never got to go out there to California when I should have been there when his mom died. I did plan on going out there and hanging out with him, but he had enablers around him. Marcy, big time. She was into drugs and, bad people were around. But my intentions on going when James passed away was to let maybe in my soul and my, like I'm here now and I'm sorry, and, the other part was because I'm very concerned about what was going to be happening to Gino and to all of his personal business, and that made me cringe so bad that Hayes was in James's stuff. Cause like James,
like the next day shredding things.
He sent me. Let me actually. I should probably. I'm not gonna talk too much about how like the real stuff about Hayes, because I'm not here to bash him. But
yeah.
I'm not gonna do what he did to me. But I am definitely here to clear up all the lies.
Yeah.
And everything he says is a lie. But I'm gonna say this. Like, let me find this. Hayes. I just knew I had to be there and at least be there for James's father. And then there was this girl. I'm not going to even give her any clout because she loves attention too. They're two of a kind, Hayes and this girl, okay? And I messed up because I let this girl come weasel her way into James's life. But I thought, hey, you know what? Marcy needs to go. She needs to get out of the situation because she's always nagging on him about live streaming, about everything he loves. She was going to shred it, you know, like just belittle the crap out of him. That's another reason why he liked me. Because I wasn't calling James's phone on the live stream saying, you should be doing this. Right. You should be doing that. Oh, play this, play that. Like, so many people tried to control James. I would call and be like, what is, you know, I just learned this about our relationship too after he passed was, what are you drinking? And does it taste good? And he's like, really? You know, he loved that. Like, cause so many people wanted so much from him. And so that's what I did. I brought that into his life. Like just normalcy and a real relationship that you should have with somebody you care about. So then this girl, you know, she's going, oh, I'll do this. I'll help him with all this paperwork. He really needs somebody to help him with this and that. I can help Gino. I'm like, wow, this girl sounds like, you know, she's really willing to help. Hey, you know, I've never met her. Don't know what she looks like. Asked James a few times, hey, can this girl, you know, stop by? I think it would be really healthy for you to have maybe her around. And he's like, no. He didn't want her to come for a while. And then he finally gave in at a breaking point when him and Marcy broke up. So then she goes down there with her best friend and they met once. And James was like, you know, he met, okay, the girl and the best friend came to James's house for a night and they hung out. James didn't really like that girl that's on his, you know, channel all the time, but he liked the best friend.
Okay.
So he's like, yeah, I hit it off with the best friend, but Tiffany was constantly cock blocking and like, I just gave her name, whatever. And so it's fine. Oh gosh. So, you know, he's like, Cheryl, I really don't like Tiffany that much. And, you know, I was like, okay, well, that's cool. And then we left it at that. And that was it. She went back home. And then she told me about everything. She's like, are you okay with this? I'm like, I'm totally fine, you know? And then the best friend started going in the chat. And then Tiffany exiled her, like, you're not allowed to talk to James.
Oh.
So James was like, okay, so now she's not allowed in the chat. But this girl that's always yapping her mouth, and he was always like banning, putting her in timeout. She didn't have a wrench ever. Like, she was always running her mouth to James, driving him crazy. She's she's doing all this and I'm thinking she's like a good girl. Like she's really got me going in my head. Then she asked for Gino's number because she's going to help Gino out with some money and we're going to set up a GoFundMe for the father, you know, because James's drug addiction with Marcy, what was going on with the dad. I was like, you know, I don't like the way you're treating your dad. We have to do something about this. So I gave the girl James's father's number with Gino's blessing and James's. Mm-hmm. Two biggest mistakes I ever made in my life. Like as far as this year. She called me and she said, Cheryl, I just want to let you know that Gino's family's all coming in. Okay, sorry I'm jumping around, but there's so much stuff. Like even stuff that I'm not even saying. She said, Cheryl, there's no place for you to sleep. And Gino's family's all going to be here. So I don't even think I'm going to be able to go out there. And I just wanted to call and let you know that I don't think it's a good idea for you to come this weekend. I'm like, why am I hearing this from her? And what's going on? So I called Hayes. And I'm like, Hayes, I'm coming out this weekend. And I'm going to sleep on James's bed. Because she's basically telling me there's no place for me to sleep. You're right. I already know James's father, you know? And I'm thinking, yeah, right. So he goes, great, come on down, and then I'll meet you at the airport, and you can watch Gino for the weekend. And okay, awesome. So I got the plane ticket. I was gonna go out there and then go be with my family because I just lost James. And then Tiffany, I seen a comment she left. She goes, "Don't worry, everybody. I am going to be with James's father this weekend. Thank you all so much for your condolences. But I'm going to take care of him this weekend." So you just lied to me. And you're saying that you're going out there. And so I called her out on it. I was like, what is this? Like, why are you saying that you're not going to me and there's no place for me to sleep, but you're going out there supposedly with your best friend, Hayes told me. So there's a place for your best friend to sleep and there's not one for me to. Okay. All right. So you're a snake. And that really like upset me. It was betrayal. It was like, why now? Why does she have to be so fucking relevant? And why is she doing this at such a horrible time? Why isn't she like at least being there for me and like there for James in a different way? Why does she have to go sleep in his house? Like, why does she have to go and be next to Gino? She don't know Gino.
Right.
And so I'm like, oh gosh, these two birds of a feather, like they'll flock together because they know each other's kind. And Hayes is gonna talk to Tiffany, and then Tiffany's gonna manipulate the situation, and I'm sure she's gonna end up going out there. But in the pit of my stomach, I'm like, I'm going out there. I don't care. And so Hayes never left that weekend, and Hayes hands the phone to Gino. Well, I called, and he said, Gino, tell Sherelle that you don't want nobody here this weekend. Okay, so I heard Gino. This is how I've been talking to Gino, too. I have not had like a real conversation for longer than a minute without him being around.
Right.
James passed.
Like holding the phone.
And he goes, Sherelle, I don't want nobody here. Well, come to find out, like, okay, fine, I'll get my ticket to go to Utah or whatever. I'm like, that bitch owes me $600. Like, I was pretty upset. So I went to Salt Lake City, but then I got a call from Justin Incredible, one of James's followers, the one that looks like Hayes in that video where he's going off for a whole hour about me.
I thought that was Hayes' like twin brother. I was like, oh, and then he's like, oh, this is just incredible. And that's insane. They look almost identical.
I know.
It's weird.
There's some weird stuff going on with that whole situation too. But maybe I'll leave that part alone. He was calling me. He was asking how I am. Said I'm okay. I'm pretty upset that I didn't get to go to California. And that Hayes is putting all James' information all over the place online. And it's killing me. And I had this red flag, like, if you find out that she went there, then there's some stuff really going on in that house. And the reason why Hayes doesn't want me to go is because he's hiding something if Tiffany really went to the house. That's obvious. And then Justin, he's like, Sherelle, don't even worry about it. You should just go out there, drive out there. My sister was willing to drive out there with me. And we could have done that. But I mean, I seriously prayed about it, asked for discernment, and people were saying, Sherelle, it's best if you don't go there, because what if you do see her there? I'd probably hit her. I'd probably go to jail. I would be so upset and pissed off at all the lies and betrayal. Like, not just her. I care less about her, but about how Hayes let her into the house.
Yeah.
And is controlling Gino. It's the whole situation that would have really bothered me.
And it wasn't really clear when the memorial was, right? Like, it kept on getting pushed around. And so it's like, how are you supposed to know when to go?
When Justin was there with Hayes. We were in touch the whole time I was in Salt Lake City. At the end, it was kind of weird how Justin was like kind of flirting with me after James died. I felt like, why are you doing this? Like, that's really weird. Okay, whatever. Then he's sitting next to Hayes, and Hayes is going off on me.
Right. Like live streaming, bashing you. And Justin's like texting you.
No, after I haven't talked to him since. I did text him and say like, let's see, I was speaking in my phone like, you dirty dog. I was actually going to show you that text of when he was shredding up all James's paperwork. I'm going to do that first. I get sidetracked because, like I said, this is a lot of stuff.
It's a lot. Well, and
it's been
weird
horrible
too that Hayes has this like extensive record, and like when was he in prison? And
well,
like,
since you put out that information, I'm like, whoa, blown away by it. It's not it's easy to get his history, and with him threatening me and stuff like that, like he is one freaking nail off the rocker. Like, I feel like that he would do something to somebody else. And I've heard he even said on a live stream he kidnapped a woman. So
yeah. And I think he said that he doesn't kill people anymore or something like that, or
I wouldn't
something like that.
Like, he has anger issues, and he can't even see reality when he gets so upset. Like, he just makes up stuff so he can feel like he wins arguments and stuff like that. That's the way he's always been too. Like with James, he intimidates people.
He kind of just strikes me as somebody that's like been raised in prison, or that has been in prison for a long time. Like the bragging about how much money he has, and flaunting the Versace. It's like he has to like fluff himself up so much to compensate,
for yes,
for how he
you
really
see that
feels
too?
about it.
Yes, that is so, like, okay. He has Versace and gold, and he has like $1 million, but he has no friends, no like real love in his life that that wants to be around. His baby's mom moved out of state. Like, she was out. This guy's not one you want to be around for very long. And then he has no friends, like, to where he's obsessing over James. And same with the other lady, like, why do you guys obsess over him? You know how it dragged his soul down. That would make anybody crazy after a while. He dealt with it, but
well, it wasn't like a friendship. It was like he had him, like, James on a leash, and he was like checking him, but James must have been getting something out of the relationship to keep putting up with it, or be scared of maybe like Hayes had something
pictures against him.
And because you said that, wasn't there also like Hayes post pictures of James's legs, or
yes, he was taking very embarrassing pictures of James.
Yeah. So like,
and
what
it was
else?
after that whole incident is when he started posting, and Hayes would send me pictures of James. Like, he would take old pictures of James's apartment, and there was a rug and there was cigarette burns in it. And when he was in California, he goes, look at what James has done to his mom's floor. He goes, like, I can't believe he does this stuff. Like, come to find out, that picture was not even at his mom's house. That was actually his apartment in Vegas by his computer. Wow. So he would say little things just to make people, think differently of James.
Right. He was like trying to drive a wedge between you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He loved that. He loved when I was upset with James. Like, James would just call me I feel like, to annoy Hayes and say, oh, me and Cheryl are cool again.
Right, because it seems like how Hayes is kind of like jealous, like he's jealous of the romantic attention that James showed you.
So true. And you know what's so funny is that I was looking at about 1,000 screenshots of the streams that we have been doing over the years, and I have 1,000 screenshots or more that I was clicking on to put into a file, and I seen that people, when they didn't really trust Hayes before his mom died, saying Hayes comes off really strong and very jealous of Sherelle. I'm like, this guy, and I had to call him out. Like, he's trying to control James, and he's enabling him, like, to do certain things his way or else.
Right. Like, there was something that he was hanging over his head.
And then, you seen the video of him saying, like, he wanted to let loose. You could tell that he wanted to say, like, screw you, Hayes. Like, stop. Like, always, just in my hair. Just
he wants to hurt you. I want to hurt somebody, like, sadistically. And he was talking about Hayes.
I feel like when James passed and Hayes laid on James's bed and started live streaming and he got that attention, it makes me sad to think about. Because, like, I remember when he sat on his bed and started live streaming, and I thought, this man is not upset that James is dead. He's not upset. He right now feels like he won what he's always wanted from James. Like, it was a kind of like a victory, and I have full control and power right now. And you are the horrible one, Sherelle. All of a sudden, I'm getting bashed too. Like, okay, so this is your excuse, so that way, you don't have to follow through on the memorial or anything. Like, okay, like, I knew it was coming. I knew it, but I called Avery. Of course I did, because, like, I couldn't deal with all these feelings that I was having. I had to call and find out what's going on from other people. And Avery, she's a real good Christian woman. She was, I think, a great friend of James's. For her to know that I was trying to go out there, and I was in more contact with her when James's mother died, and Hayes, because Hayes was in James's ear, and Hayes was going through a lot, so I couldn't talk about productive stuff about me going out there to really anybody but her. She couldn't buy me a ticket. She knows that. I have the text messages. She could not buy me a ticket. She didn't want to buy me a ticket. But the thing is there's just, like, so much. I just feel like I'm just saying for my own, I would be a horrible person if I wouldn't have been there or couldn't have been there. I feel sorry, and I am sorry that I couldn't have been there when James's mom died. But the truth of the matter is when I had that job, I could have only stayed for 3 days at the most anyways, and that's the time that I got off of work, that I had to try to get off of work, because I had already used all my time when my dog died the week before.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Like, your job doesn't want to give you more time off after you were just off for a week, and then you only have so much money that you can live off of when you're not working. And then the plane ticket, it's, you can only do what you can do. But James knew that.
Yeah, but he wanted me out there. That is a fact. That is the truth. And I mean, there's no sugarcoating that. I would have done anything to be there.
Yeah.
And the first thing he does is he gets very angry with me, upset, which is all the emotions that he's totally allowed to have. I'm glad that there was people there with him when his mom passed, but he was upset, angry, all those. But he called Marcy, that woman that enabled, she was an enabler. She really got into James, and James let it happen. Of course, he always, I wanted him to be strong. We had a plan. James and I had a plan. I said, if you can stick to this plan, very simple, like, even I just wanted to make, like, a first couple steps of doing it, then I would have took some more initiative to help him out. But he wanted it. He said he wanted to be with me, and I'm like, I would love to have a house with you out here. We can do this. let's work on it, but we got to do it not just from a love, fantasy reality. Like, I don't live my life like that. That's not who I am, and I don't care what anybody says. That's just not the way I think.
Right.
But if
you
can
needed
make
to see
plans,
like steps.
Yeah. If you can make these plans, then we can do this. We had our plan. He loved me till the end. On the 9th, he said he was coming out here. Aww. And I'll share, I guess, what I texted him. I know. Let's see. It's on WhatsApp. James. At the last 2 months, it was really the last month and a half, James stopped talking to me. And I knew there was something wrong. I knew something more deeper was going on with James, and I was calling him, texting him, not getting really any responses back. So, okay, this is it right here. He says, okay. Where are you? Okay, sorry. So he called me and goes, Cheryl, what do you think about me coming to Miami? You want to see me? I was like, yes. Is it gonna work out this time? Like, so I had expectations though. Because I already know what I'm getting myself into. Honestly, it's the truth. Everybody knows that he had a drug problem with Marcy, and I didn't want any part of that at all. So I said, I need to know if you're coming out here. One thing I don't like is when you tell me stuff and then you just expect me to follow around or follow whatever you want to do. And then I'm supposed to stick to your schedule, and I have my own schedule. Everything I do is planned. I like that I have my life in a scheduled and doing things in a scheduled manner. And you should know that about me by now. Like, do it so that we can plan it.
Right.
And then I put, but anyways, hey, are you going live? What are you doing, buddy? LOL. He goes, settle down. I'll talk to you tonight. I was like, okay, I'm going to bed soon. I'm here. And he goes, I'm coming over right now. I said, no way. Like, I was like, he surprised me and he said, ha ha ha. Yeah. And then he goes, I was like, don't be doing drugs either. If I see you, I don't want you to be on any drugs, please. I cannot deal with that. He goes, oh, I smoke weed. Geez, that's it. So that is the truth about me. And I don't like it. And I don't like when he just thinks that I can just drop everything like he lives his life. That's where we did not match.
Right. Mm-hmm. Like, he can't just show up and you're just supposed to drop everything and cater to him, and then he just leaves. And
he's very needy too. That was another thing with James and I, that I could never do some of the things that Marcy could do for James. And that's back to, and he knew that. I would say there's no way in hell I would ever have you yell across the room to me to get you a fork when you're right there on the dining room table. You better get up and get your own damn fork. I'm not your mother. I'm not like that. I will not be talked to like that. And he was very needy like that. And I'm so self-sufficient and so dependent on myself. I don't ask for much. So when somebody's like really needy on me, it's too much for me. It's too much. Couldn't do it.
Well, I think that's important that you're keeping it real, and because that's normal. Like, everybody, it's not like a perfect situation. We can all, like, as viewers, we could see that James had so much love for you, and like all the pictures I've seen, and when he was visiting you on video, like, he just lit up, and like the way he touched you and like rubbed your back and stuff like that. But he had problems. He had the drug issue and lots of other stuff going on, and it's it doesn't always work out the way that we would all like Yeah, you know, in a Disney movie or whatever. But I think that's good that you're sharing that, you know, you set boundaries, you know, like healthy boundaries. Like, I do really like you, but hey, I'm not going to just sign up for anything. Like, this is how I operate, and if you want to be with me, like, this
The
is
first thing he should have done was not move in another woman right away when he got to California. If he,
well, it seems
I
like it might
understand
be
his
kind
mom
of
just
drug
passed, but
related.
yeah, it had to
Yeah.
have been, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's like, and then it turned into helping her, and it was all about the sex, and then, you know, it's a wrap after that. Drugs and sex, it's like rock and roll. Good times for James.
Well, at least he lived
You know
a
what?
life.
Oh my gosh, he's so awesome. He's so funny. I get it. Like, I understand why so many people are pissed off and upset, and they want to believe in this fantasy of me and James. The real fantasy was that I had a really awesome relationship with him, no matter what I have been through with him, and we always have been close. I mean, he loved me till the very, very end. When he rented that car that he had the accident on the 405, he called me because I was telling him I was dating a Russian, because I just had to. I was like, hey, I'm dating a Russian guy from New York, just, you know, to bust his balls a little bit. But that was what I wanted him to know, that, hey, I moved on, you need to move on too. And I feel like he went to the dealership and he's like, which car should I get? And then that was the last FaceTime we did, and he was going back and forth to the different cars. I was like, get the one with the sunroof, get the one with the sunroof. And he got that car, and he loved it. He was driving everywhere in that car. He loved.
What kind of car was it?
I don't know. I don't remember what kind of car it was.
Yeah, the whole accident is weird with the Tesla, and
It
like
is.
we still haven't heard anything about the driver of the Tesla or any reports on James. Like, Hayes said that he was going to get these reports, and I don't think he ever showed any reports except the death certificate.
Oh, I know, all over the live stream. That's crazy. You can do so much fraud with death certificates, and he made 10 copies. Like, I don't know why. I know that he wants to break into James's phone, and he wants to, like, he took over all the paperwork. That's the other thing I want everybody to see, really, because this is for the future. This isn't just for right now. This is there's something obviously that's going on in the background, like, that's really suspicious. And let me see where's.
Well, it was weird that the GoFundMe, it said the organizer is Gino, but the beneficiary is Hayes. Like, shouldn't Gino be the beneficiary and Hayes
That
is
is
the
a good
organizer?
point.
Like, why did anybody bring that up like a while ago, like when it was
I
set
did.
up? Yeah.
But I was too scared to tell Hayes, because I knew I was just one firecracker away from setting that sucker off, because I knew Hayes wanted to explode on me, and I was trying to keep the peace. That was before I called Avery. But there were so many questions that I wanted answers to, and he is like, don't worry about anything. Don't worry. I'm like, well, where's the obituary? When's the memorial? And since I came to California, are you going to do the memorial on a date that I can be out there? I was like, you better do it on a date that I can be out there. He's like, yes, Cheryl, yes. I was like, okay. So we planned the date for July 2nd for the memorial. And I wanted to be involved. I wanted to be involved because I think it would have been way more better for everyone as far as who loved him.
Yeah.
Hayes took full control of the father of everything, and he was the man. He is the man. That he put $166 on that list that you had for food. He was there for a month for Gino's food.
Is he feeding Gino?
I mean, Sprite, 99 cents. And the total's what? Less than $2,000. So when you said that about the whole GoFundMe, I'm like, you know, that's actually fraud. Like, if it's for the funeral and for the memorial, and Hayes already wrote down all this stuff on a paper on Discord of how much money he spent, then then what is this money really going to? And I know it can't be connected to Gino's bank account, can it? Or I don't know, with the whole organizer.
No, it would be connected to Hayes's. If he's the beneficiary, it would be the name on the bank account is, what is it? His name is Henry Hay. Henry Hay the third. It sounds like some like cartoon characters.
For sure. Or like some trailer park name.
Like some guy with like a piece of hay and all right, that's me.
I thought you are so funny.
So, well, I don't know. I think we could kind of wrap this up, but
okay, let me show you guys this real quick. But now I know. Why in the hell is it attached?
Hayes better not be threatening you or doing anything like that, because
he already has. I have it. He already threatened me and he doxed me, and then he's sitting there trying to like act like he's been in my house, saying I live in a tent, and he says a lot of stuff. So I really hope, Aphrodite, that you post the truth on of the fact that I was not, going to the Keys with some guy in a Corvette and all the other stuff. Like, I could seriously dissect all of his lies to everyone. Let me just show you this one. This freaked me out too when I seen this. I was like, why is the nerve that he is shredding up all James's paperwork? Didn't sit right with me. Where's Hayes' new one? And James had some like real interesting paperwork from back in the day when he first started YouTubing, and just some personal information that it would have been nice to have, or like maybe somebody like his cousins could have had. But why did he feel the need to go and shred all James's paperwork? But then he calls me literally I'm like the next day, and he's telling me, Cheryl, the 3 bags of papers that I shredded that got put outside by the garbage are gone. The 3 bags of paperwork are gone. I have the text message. This is the video. You can see.
Yeah. That's the bag. Shredded paper.
And there's Gino's dad. So he got that. He felt like, okay, so now for legal purposes or whatever the case may be, I have Gino sitting right there knowing that I'm shredding all James's paperwork.
Right.
But don't you have to have power of attorney or something to be doing this kind of shenanigans? Like, what the hell? So then this is it. Yesterday I shredded 3 bags of paper. In it can be outside. Someone took the whole can last night. Look at. So he sends me that the night before. Then the next morning he says, "Oh, well, somebody stole all James's shredded paperwork," and now he has all the paperwork that he wants to keep of James's, and all the other stuff is not to ever be obtained, or we don't have any record of anything on his stuff. And he had a lot of paperwork that he had no business going through. Nobody does.
Well, he somehow got into Gino's head and convinced him that he knows best.
I know that Gino's in a vulnerable spot. Gino never even sorry. I mean, I'm going to give credit where it's due. Yeah, Hayes did show up. But he would call Hayes some pretty nasty names. So they, we're not fans of each other. Like, he did not like Hayes, period. But when he showed up, they're saying, I'm his twin. I'm here to help you. I'm going to kick this girl out. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. You know, he took so much full control, like, and power. Like what is an old man going to do that just
right?
He's so vulnerable, and he's like got this guy that's just taking full control over everything.
Yeah.
That is a little like it was odd. It was, and I'm sure a lot of red flags for a lot of viewers went off for a lot of people. He got on the first flight and he doesn't want me there, but he wants Tiffany there, and Tiffany's another one. She wanted his dirty underwear and a dirty shirt of James's. Like, that girl should have just been uh-oh.
Oh.
So yeah, I just wanted to say that. And then, you know, I feel like James's father would just basically do whatever it took to get whatever he needed, because he didn't want to see his son, period, dead. He did not want to accept it. He did not want to claim the body, none of that. So it's, you know, credit where it's due. Hayes was there, but nobody else was allowed to be there that loved James, or James loved, more importantly. And for him to sit there and attack me, knowing that James and I were so close, that should speak volumes to so many people, that I wasn't allowed to be at the memorial.
Yeah.
And if I would have been at the memorial, I want to let everybody else know too, that this would have been something special for everyone. It wouldn't have been about Hayes or anything. It would have also been about, even, I don't care if I like you or you don't like me. A lot of people don't like me online. I would have made sure that if you were a part of James's life, and you would have felt like you were included. Like, we would have had a digital book. Everybody would have signed it. There would have been so many things, like little packages that everybody would have got, and it would have been a donation of $10 to contribute to the whole funeral cause. And, you know, everybody could have been a part of this.
Yeah.
It was so much hate at the end. And so much power, and, you know, who's the best person in James's life type situation, that it took away so much of who James was. And that really bothers me. Like, it shouldn't have been about that. It should have been about love and his life. And I didn't get it even more, and I was so angry and so hurt, like confused with what was happening. And I couldn't even just be sad that I just lost like my best friend, and I will never ever have another James in my life ever again that made me laugh hysterically all the time. And I mean, so many other people too, but the connection we had was really special.
Yeah, he was a special guy for sure. And I think it was pretty, I think, apparent to everybody who liked James that Hayes is shady business and was not doing James's memory in the right way. And just the energy of it all, it's just not a good energy. Trying to like pit the people that love James against each other for what, you know, like you're winning some popularity contest or something. It's just weird. It's all weird, and the story's weird. So I'm so happy that you decided to come and talk with me today and just tell me your side, and like tell the world, you know, like what James was like and what your relationship was like. And it seems like James's relationship with Hayes was built on some faulty foundation, that like maybe there was something that Hayes was holding over James, that James felt he had to do what Hayes kind of wanted, which is really messed up. It's really messed up.
And you could see it if you watch the live streams. Whenever Hayes had a link that he had to make sure everybody heard, he was going to get his voice heard no matter what. Yeah. So, and can you imagine like how stressful that would be to have a girlfriend that's sitting there saying, oh, you and all your stupid freaking all you want to do is do live streams, and then just cutting them down constantly, and then having some guy call your phone saying, oh, you need to do this with your life. Oh, you need that. And look at, I want you to share this link. And then having this girl, and just saying, oh, I love you, James, and then saying like one hitters, like, oh, you know, you really could do this so much better if you would just stop doing that. Like constantly calling his phone from 6 a.m. to like 9 p.m. That would do something to your mental health, as you're already kind of screwed up with everything that's going on. You have no control. You're losing even more control of your life. And then these people, vultures, are just sucking you dry. And you got drug problem, you know. Hayes, it's everybody knows that Hayes was saying, hey, James, come out here, just like in the beginning of May, and come hang out for a week. I'll get you a ticket. He said that. James said, I love you. And the last text messages that we had shared, and he said, I'm going to come see you. And Hayes didn't like that. So James never made it out here. That's what I heard. That he didn't like the fact that he wanted to come back out here and see me. But James had told Hayes straight up, I'm in love with Sherelle and I want to work it out. We have a plan.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know why he said that. I think it was just to put Hayes like in a place, like, hey, slow down off of me a little bit. Like, you know, because I don't know why he would say that to Hayes. No matter what, I would have seen him in a heartbeat. Like if he was coming out here in like a couple days and I had a couple days, like, hey, let's plan it out. Let's just plan it out.
Yeah.
But I was not what everybody said. It's all lies. I mean, it's really sick to believe that somebody that close to James would be that horrible. But there was a lot of enablers around him too. And
well, thank you so much for doing this video with me. I think that a lot of people are going to maybe look more into this, and maybe we'll find even more stuff about Hayes, and the truth is going to come out no matter what. And we can see that James loved you and you guys had something really special. So just thank you for sharing your story. And
thank you. God is good. And I hope Jesus like protects me, because I don't, you know.
All right, Sherelle, thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much.
I have so many screenshots, but this was another one. There was a lot of weird stuff happening to James, and you know, I put Brenda in the mix, but you know, the stuff that was being put out there, I mean, it wasn't very friendly. You can see Tiffany even saying that. But, you know, he's did a lot of crazy stuff. I'm sorry I couldn't get on a plane because I don't get a disability check. And, you know, I don't have a job. Like, I had no money. My dog died. It was so expensive. I had to take grievance off of work just because he passed. And then I fought to... Obviously, you see my schedule. You seen where I was at. I never went to the Keys. All of that was lies. It was an awful month. And even Joe Biden got inaugurated. He lost his mother. And the first one to go there that was jumping up and down. Oh my gosh, I get to meet James Munder. Don't you guys remember that video where he was jumping up and down in front of his big screen? I was like, only a year and a half ago, you guys. And text messages. And I do record on proving myself innocent and having this monster try to destroy every relationship that James loved.